Joan Lay yields back, and I'll now go to Dr. Burgess for 5 minutes.
Thank you, and thanks to our witnesses for being here. Dr. Ortiz, thank you for referencing the Energy Policy Act of 2005, one of the first pieces of legislation on which I was able to work on this committee back in the day. And it's been an enduring piece of legislation. You referenced the reliability part. Of course, we were just coming off of the 2003 power outage in the Northeast, so it was on a lot of people's minds that would be important. So we do need to keep in mind that a lot of the policies that we make are enduring, and they do persist over time. So, Dr. Ortiz, back home in Texas, was in all the papers, but we've had a real hot summer. Not really a surprise, because Texas is supposed to be hot during the summertime, so the part of the blessing there is generated a lot of solar power with the intense rays of the sun coming down, so that was a good thing. At the same time, every afternoon, like clockwork, the sun would go down. And when the sun set, the power component from the solar panels dropped. And I mean, this is just physics. It's not a surprise. It shouldn't have alarmed anyone. But that's also the point at which people are getting home from work and realizing this house is hot as Hades, and I'm going to crank the AC down, which then put additional strain upon the grid. So there were several, probably 10 or 11 warnings that ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, issued because of getting dangerously close to that supply-demand part of the curve where I guess some bad things happen if the lines cross. So we saw that in one state, but are there concerns on the national level? More and more dependence upon renewables, wind and solar, sometimes not the highest degree of reliability, or sometimes predictable that there's going to be a drop-off after sunset. Is there any place where that has affected federal policy? And do we need to be concerned about the federal policy that's incentivized the industry to invest in renewables at the expense of more reliable generation?
I only have 2 minutes and 28 seconds, sir, but I'll be as brief as I can. So what I think you correctly noted that, solar and wind and other resources that have come online are predictable in many ways, but, as you said, the sun does go down. You're not going to dispatch a solar facility at nighttime. And the impact that those resources have with respect to reliability has to do with the requirement then to ramp in the evening. There's always been an evening ramp. People would always come home and then turn on their appliances and do things, so that's nothing new. But the scope and scale of that ramp has become much more significant. This is most profound in California, where it's known affectionately as the duck curve. But PJM has noted that they're going to have a 70 gigawatt ramp sometime in the next, I think in 2035 is their projection. As a point of reference, the total load in PJM last week on a couple of the hot days was about 140 gigawatts. So that's half of the load on a hot day coming up in the course of several hours. That puts an incredible strain on primarily the flexible resources that are able to meet that, and that's natural gas capacity. That kind of ramping, and that's why I kind of hesitated on my response to the chairman's question, puts a different kind of strain on the pipeline and gas system than just having base load plants. It's much more.
I'm going to run out of time, so I hate to interrupt you because I like where you're going with this, but we've done a lot as far as tax credits for wind and solar when they were in their infancy. But is it not now time? Those industries have matured. Is it not now time to withdraw or to dial back some of those subsidies in the tax code to allow for the production of more reliable forms of energy?
So I can't speak to subsidies and items like that. I will say, though, that wherever you have a significant amount of this happening at the distribution level with consumer choice, you're going to see this. So it isn't just a federal set of issues. It very much goes down to state level policies as well.
So you propose eliminating consumer choice? Is that your answer?
I didn't say that, actually. I said that wherever you have consumers making these choices, then you have this magnitude of items. You have the potential for this occurring.
I'll submit some other questions already. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.